I'm standing here to tell you what I've learned, but most importantly, I want you to know that I'm still overwhelmed and still confused. I do not know about how my decisions about schools or friends will affect me in the long run, but nor do you, and that's how I feel better. For a while, I was drowning in the future, a feeling I've carried my whole life, but only recently have I finally confronted it. A well-known book, I suppose the majority of people in this room have read it, if not heard of it, The Alchemist has become a major part of my development. Excerpts from this story have brought me to many conclusions. Now, I hope I don't spoil it for you during this speech, but instead I hope you open up this book in search of your own perspectives. You see, among everyone else in this room, I'm attempting to realize my personal legend. I want to know what it is that I'm here for. It seems as if this process of realization is made up of conjuring my beliefs and the experiences I've had so far. In a more relatable sense, I'm scared of what life holds for me after high school and the choices I'll have to make. We all know that at this point in life, extremely important decisions await that will determine your outcome, whether you've been told so or you've already found out. At the start of this year and throughout, I found myself in the same place as the main character, Santiago, satisfied with my life and not wanting change. I started and finished the college process without a solid grasp of what I wanted to achieve in life. But to quote the book, when you can't go back, you have to worry about the best way of moving forward. I didn't know where I wanted to go to school, if I would take a gap year and so forth. But most importantly, I didn't know which would be the best path to take. To chase prestige, to surround myself with persons of similar political views, to be happy. How does one know whether or not they'll be happy? These questions ran through my mind without end, and I thought somewhere, somehow, the answers would just come to me. "What's the world's greatest lie?" the boy asked, completely surprised. "It's this, that at a certain point in our lives, we lose control of what's happening to us, and our lives become controlled by fate. That's the world's greatest lie." I knew that I needed to make these decisions about my future on my own. But what about fear? Travel is something I've known my entire life, and something I want to continue knowing for the rest of it, however long that may be. But you see, I was scared. Of all 7 continents I've been to and over 50 countries I've experienced, I was scared to decide where next. I was scared that I may not find what I want along the way, and that even if I do follow these dreams of mine, I'll realize that they weren't what I wanted to pursue after all. Every single scenario and accusation crossed my mind each time I thought about where I'll end up for 4 years. It seemed for a while that I was lost in a whirlwind of thought, eternally spinning in the present thoughts of my future. Alas, the King of Salem appeared. I didn't realize that he'd shape-shifted into many encounters throughout this year, whether it was my friend's mom telling me I don't have to do everything right away, my taxi driver telling me stories about connecting with people from everywhere, or this book in its entirety. It taught me that people need not fear the unknown if they are capable of achieving what they need and want. My mind unraveled at this statement. Of all the knowledge and connections I've attained so far, I deemed myself worthy of achieving what I need and want. Of course, doubt crossed my mind, but that's all it did. It left as soon as it came. I didn't know that I'd soon come to graduate at HPA, or even switch schools for that matter. But this goes to show that it's about what you do along the way, because you'll never know what your final destination is. Now I am left with my future in my hands, and however scary that may be, I'm determined to protect it with whatever means necessary. There need not be any questions about how, who, why, or what, because that does not matter. A simple embrace of the mystery that lies before you is all that need be. Everyone has his or her own way of learning things. Mine seem to be through this story, but yours may not. For the students, I will not challenge you now to discover your personal legend, as I do not yet know mine. I want this to be a wake-up call of sorts. The future may be scary, it may be exciting, but it just is, however unsatisfying and comforting that may be. For those past this time in your lives, I want you to consider how the people around you are affected by your own personal legend. Your experiences and advice could add up to someone else's realization of purpose. But above all, through this story, I learned that these things are so simple that they could be written on the surface of an emerald. Thank you.